Ultralight Backpacking and Survival Tips with Steve Gilman. You have a lot of options for rainwear if you're going ultralight, and they start with the expensive ones. There's some real nice rain suits out there that are waterproof and breathable that are $200–300 or even more. And I personally won't pay that much for a rain suit, particularly now that I live in Colorado. But even when I was hiking in wetter climates, I thought that was a little bit too much to pay. And so the solution that I settled on was a suit like this, which is called Frog Togs. They're kind of papery and plasticky, and you'd think that they're more fragile than they are, but this is waterproof and breathable. And I've used this to the top of Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador. That's 20,700 feet in the snow. I've used it through long hikes through the rain and stayed completely dry and comfortable in it. And it's very repairable. I've had this probably almost 15 years now, and if you can see, there's a couple patches of duct tape on there. You can fix these right up with duct tape if you have to. They can be put on right over your shoes. They open at the bottom. I'm not really doing this as an ad for Frog Togs. I just happen to like these, but I just want you to know there's some options out there that are not so expensive. This was less than $50 for the set, and they're very light. It's I think 7 ounces for the top and 7 ounces for the bottom. So it's under a pound complete, and it'll get you through just about any weather. It is probably a little bit more fragile than some of the nylon suits, and so if you were really going to be bushwhacking through some heavy brush, you might consider taking something else. But this is one of the options you have, and another one would be to take a poncho. Some people like to use a poncho because it will double as a shelter, even if you just want an extra, maybe a roof out over the front of your tent or something. You can use it in that way and get a double use out of it. But ponchos are a little tricky when it's windy. They tend to open up and let the rain in, and I prefer an actual rain suit. And always get one, of course, that has a hood. This hood is adjustable. You can pull it down and it'll keep you very warm in the winter as well. So that's one of the options you have, or a couple of the options you have for rainwear. Here's a little tip about getting out of the weather when you see storms coming. First of all, if you see the clouds coming, start to think ahead and watch for places, just in case you need to quickly run to get out of the rain. An overhanging rock like this can be a great place, especially if it's just a light rain. And if you have a sleeping pad or a sleeping pad seat like I use in my backpack here for support, sit on that to insulate yourself from the ground. And the reason for that is that if there's lightning, it sometimes runs through the moisture on the surface of the ground, and this will insulate you from it and keep you from getting electrocuted. And of course then keep your shoes, which have rubber on the bottom, flat on the ground while you sit here. And a place like this will work most of the time. If it rains real heavily, eventually some of the rain will start to trickle around and drip off of key points underneath the rock, and you might have to move around a little bit, but you usually can stay out of the rain this way pretty easily. So keep your eyes open for those storm clouds and start looking for shelter before you need it. Sometimes when it's really cold out, if you get yourself in a jam in a survival kind of situation, try to remember that the main thing is to keep your core warm. And because of that, you're able to sacrifice a sleeve if you need to, because one of the places you'll lose the most heat is actually from your head. So, if you have a pocket knife with you, or if you have some other way to cut it, you can take your shirt off and cut a sleeve off. And if you want to, you can even put the shirt right back on if you need the warmth on your core still. Just have one short sleeve. But a sleeve on most shirts will make a very good emergency hat. And I would double it, fold it over double around your ears, and then just let the thing flop back to the top of the sleeve. And that's a quick way to make a hat to stop from losing so much heat. And it works especially well if you have some sort of outer layer, because then missing a sleeve on one side won't matter nearly as much as it would otherwise. So that's a quick tip on how to make a hat and hold that heat in a survival situation. Hi, I'm Gare Brill's of Man vs. Ratings. And when I want to survive in the wild, I look at something like this, an easy trail, and I said, no, I can't do that. I just say no. Because my motto is, if there's a safe way to do it, it's bad for ratings. So always look for the more difficult way up a hill. Thank you for watching Ultralight Backpacking and Survival Tips with Steve Gilman. For more information, you can see the ultralightsite.com, the ultralightbackpackingsite.com, or buy the book Ultralight Backpacking Secrets, now available on Kindle and Nook.